Hey everybody, welcome to Maine Wedding Buzz, and today we have Sam Butts from Sam Butts Yoga, and he will be telling us all about this new fad that I think is happening, where you'll come in and you'll do yoga for your bridal party and get you relaxed right before you go down the aisle, and take that stress away from the weekend. So I just recently experienced this at a wedding we did, where they brought in a personal trainer, and I thought it was a wonderful idea, and it had everybody so at ease. So Sam's going to talk to us about that, so I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you so much for having me.
And tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Yeah, sure. I grew up right in southern Maine here, Saco, born and raised, and was really in love with the sports, always active in that thing, and that's probably why I went to school and got right in towards exercise science.
Awesome.
And played 4 great years, fortunate enough to play 4 great years of college baseball, and
wow.
had that opportunity. So, that really propelled me in towards, whether it be lifting or the gym, things like that. And I fell in love and was really fascinated with movement and movement patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a book called from Gray Cook. It was called Movement, and it was talking about how we all have functional movement patterns. So I fell in love with that, and since then, graduating, kind of found myself in I don't know how, but teaching yoga and having fun with it, and so just locally right here, and doing the best I can.
So would you say that was the first thing that drew you into yoga? Because everybody has these spiritual experiences,
Right.
so I wondered if you had the same thing.
Well, for me, it was part of it, timing of my life, where I was going mentally, I guess. But honestly, finding yoga was basically completely physical for me at first. I was coming out of school against sports. I loved it, but it took a toll on my shoulders were tired. My knees and joints were kind of tired from some lifting. Basically, I got out of school and was just like, what am I lifting 1 repetition max for it anymore? And so yoga started as just a physical thing for me, just something to keep me in shape, keep me flexible, something important. And it ended up becoming something a lot more. Mental benefits, the spiritual journey, I guess, that some people might start it with, that came afterwards. But it started with the physical part, yeah.
And where do you do your yoga? Is it at the studio that is rented by you, owned by you? How does that work?
It's not owned by me. It's actually owned by my teacher, Penny Klum, who since I've been coming on board and practiced seriously there and been teaching, we've opened up in Scarborough also on top of Saco. So kind of teaching a full class load, 2 different places. And but as far as that goes, it was really nice. It offered me kind of a homegrown experience as far as teaching. So I got the quality aspect of what I wanted to bring to the table, and at the same time, it got me in the room right away. It got me into I think that's a tough thing for anyone, any profession. You come out new and you're looking for something. I was fortunate to have somewhere to go and just start teaching right away.
What requirements are you required to have?
So actually, I went through a 200-hour teacher training on top of taking classes and getting to meet other teachers and things like that. So while it was 200 hours was the certification, it probably had a lot more outside of that too, whether it be my own learning or learning from other people. So.
And what type of style yoga do you do? And are there several? Are there different yoga styles?
Oh, there are so many different styles. So actually, physical yoga, hatha yoga, is just one.
Is that what you teach?
Yeah. So Ashtanga falls under this big thing of hatha yoga, is a physical yoga. And that's just one branch of this huge umbrella of yoga. And I like that there's so many different types and styles of yoga, because there's different personalities. People are looking for different types of things. So, but the one that I kind of fell in love with after dabbling in just some gym classes here and there, some vinyasa classes, I really fell in love and connected with a style called Ashtanga yoga, which is very traditional based. It's known best for probably its self-practice, but it's a great one in the class. It's flowing, rhythmic, and it just keeps you moving.
How many students? Is that what you call them, students? I guess?
Students, yogis. As far as, per class, is that where you're... It really depends. Obviously, we have a couple different studio sizes, but anywhere between maybe 25, 40 people.
Wow, that many?
Yeah, so at the high end, maybe 40. You want to get to a point where, as a teacher, you can safely help everyone. So you don't want to let it get too big in the sense of right in front of you, but it gives everyone a really nice self-practice, but at the same time, I kind of say, you're on the mat for yourself, but you're not, in practice by yourself. You're doing with other people in the room with
How
you.
does it work with, say, a newcomer? So
Yeah.
let's say I go in, and
Yes.
I joke around a lot. So for a newcomer who doesn't have the experience, and you
Okay.
have everybody in the room, do they feel alienated, or is there something that they can do as a new student coming into it?
You kind of get the feel right when they walk through the door.
Okay.
Some are very hesitant. I was nervous the first time, I remember. And, because I wasn't sure what I was walking in towards. I wasn't sure, there's so many different yogas that can be a blessing and a burden in the same time.
Which one's right for you?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I guess the only way to find out is doing it. But for someone new, it's really being okay where you're at. I always say, hey, just show up. You'll get the details, you'll get the postures, you'll get all of those things down, and you'll find something that connects to you. And you might do it by finding something first that you don't really connect to.
Okay.
But just finding something out of it and continuing to just be confident in everything you do and go for it. And trust that where you are today is exactly where you need to be, and trust that it's more than good enough. You move differently than anyone else, so your practice is going to be different.
So everybody can move at their own pace.
Exactly.
They don't have to catch up to somebody
Right. You
else
just
who
gotta
has more
trust it.
experience.
Exactly.
Okay. Because I know you had a friend of ours in there, and I know she's
Yeah.
she's very quick at yoga,
Oh,
and you're
man.
like, oh my God, I can never do that, but she was phenomenal. And
Right.
those are the things that sometimes somebody might, like myself, I get intimidated when I don't know something, and I walk into a room and I'm like, oh.
But I'll tell you what, they actually help quite a bit when you're in the room with you.
Wow.
As a teacher, it helps you to put some focus on others, and it also helps you keep a pace in the class.
That's great.
But at the same time, for someone, I don't know, if you're in the mat next to them, let's say you're in
Yeah.
there and there's someone who's very familiar with the practice, if you get lost, you just kind of follow. You kind of
look at somebody.
You can see it, you can watch it, and that way you don't feel quite so out of it. So you might go in a little
So
intimidated.
you don't necessarily have to do every pose.
No.
If you don't feel comfortable doing it, it's
Exactly.
okay. You're not going to get frowned
Exactly.
upon. Okay. So
Yes.
that's actually good, because that makes people feel better.
Yeah.
And do they go to you, or do you go to them, or is it the same thing? Do you travel? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, whether it's yoga for weddings or yoga for anything corporate, I teach a class in the corporate arena too.
That's great
And
for corporate team building.
Oh, it's awesome. That's
a great idea.
And but what's really cool about it is every place has their different. There are different aspects, just different feels in
Yep.
the rooms, whether it be a studio or a gym or the corporate arena. But what's really nice is, you can really do it anywhere. So I've been asked to go to places, which I do, whether it be traveling, part of the package is, within that 80-mile difference, round trip, stuff like that, or just going off site to a private, or just them coming in and they feel more comfortable in a studio setting, in a place where maybe that's really what it's used for, and that might feel good for them too. So
What I like about this is that you can actually have Sam come out to whatever venue you've rented for the weekend, and have him come out and have all the bridal party come out and do yoga together. And it's a great way for everybody to sort of, I call it a cleansing after the rehearsal dinner, and everybody's been drinking. But I think it's a great way to de-stress, because a lot of people get so anxious that they're missing the part of getting married.
Right.
And I think, looking back at that wedding that I did and having that trainer there, and then seeing them walk down the aisle, there was a comfort and a sort of a
Connectedness, yeah.
yeah, and everybody was in tune.
Right.
And I thought, wow, what a great idea. And when you approached me, or I got it through an email through Lori,
Yeah.
I thought, what a great idea
Right.
to offer this service to brides and their bridal party, because you got hair and makeup, everything else coming in. You're so stressed out that if you just took an hour and did a yoga class with everybody, I think it would be a wonderful experience for your bridal party, and it would also make great photos too.
It's
So you have
powerful.
to think
Yes,
about everything.
photos are a
So
big
photo
part.
ops are good.
Actually did one recently at this beautiful barn. It was a beautiful day, actually, just the start of fall, and it was cool. They got it right outside. It was small, but it was the morning of the bachelorette party.
Nice.
So I'm not sure, obviously, what probably took afterwards, but you're right.
It sort of just makes you feel more at ease with the day,
Right.
because it goes by so fast that you have a moment to reflect that you're actually getting married. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And I know it's the party, I know it's the event, I know
Right.
it's the venue. but you're getting married, and that's what I think a lot of people are forgetting.
That's a big part of the reason
why.
I love yoga in general. Is probably one of the biggest things is that transition from viewing life more of a goal-oriented. I think a wedding can be seen as such a goal and such a tunnel vision focused for such a long period of time that once you hit that goal, once it's done and over with, and you look back, if you look back and you miss the process of attaining that goal, I think you missed a lot on the way, a lot of growth period time. Yeah. And it's the same thing with the practice just in life. And so it's more of a goal-oriented towards a more process-oriented.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how I feel. Do yoga rooms have to be hot?
Oh, man.
I mean, do they? I mean, is that a necessity by choice, or could it be a
I think it's a necessity in New England for about 3 months out of the year, but I'm someone who doesn't need any help sweating.
Okay.
Even though sweat, it's the cologne of champions, right?
There you go.
But no, I'm not someone who needs, so that never really drew an interest to me. That never got a chord for me. But for some people, actually, it's probably the question that's asked most once they hear that I'm a yoga teacher. The first one, it's like 80% of the time is, oh, do you teach hot yoga? Oh, do you teach Bikram yoga?
So that's a different kind of yoga.
It's a different style of yoga. People love it. People love that feel. Ashtanga to me, like I said, I don't have any trouble sweating. It warms up your body, helps burn some toxins, things like that too. But that's part of the reason why there's so many different styles of yoga, because everyone's different. Everyone's got something they connect to.
What's the biggest challenge you find with yoga? Is it converting people? I did yoga in Penny's class, and I wish I would have stuck with it, but my funny side that likes to always joke around about everything when I don't know what I'm doing, that's when that comes out. And so I wish I would have stuck by it because my back's out and to help and stuff. But Penny did teach me a really nice technique to sit on the floor. And so, I put a mat under my behind and it levitates
elevates your hips,
and it's actually really good, so I can get on the floor and play with my daughter, and so that's a lot of fun. And so before it was like trying to get up, and that helped me, and that was through Penny's class. And so do you feel that when people come in that they're a challenge sometimes, or what?
The biggest challenge, one aspect is finding out where they're at when they come in. Because as we just mentioned before, everyone's looking for a little something different in their life at that point. And we carry around stress and emotion in our bodies and our mind, and it shows up. And that's something you can tap in on people if you just pay attention, listen. So that's a little tough, is getting where they are and then bringing everyone in the room together. But one of the biggest challenges from being a student to teacher is taking the experiences I have on the mat and the feelings that I've got and the things that help me during my practice as a student, and then helping to kind of say it or demonstrate it in as many different ways that can resonate with everyone, because everyone's going to take something. They might hear something over and over and over again, and then someone tweaks it a little bit, and then it makes complete sense and it clicks. So that's probably the biggest challenge, is finding that in-between spot between what's going to challenge you and what's going to bring you back to keep growing. But at the same time, how can we build the discipline of being very honest with yourself and trusting that where you are today is exactly where you need to be?
That's a good way to feel. If you had to do one pose, and my assistant asked this question, what would be the one that you choose for the rest?
All right. I might be cheating here. I don't think it's one pose, it's one sequence. And it's honestly the sun salutation series. So it's in Ashtanga, it's the very beginning series where
is that downward? Upward?
Yeah, that's involved. Downward dog's involved. Upward dog's
I remember.
Yes,
I remember.
So you're taking some stuff. No, so that movement sequence, that's something that even on an off day, or if you're just, whether you get off a plane or whether you're, driving to a wedding that's, out in Vermont, and you know what I mean, whatever it is, and you get out and you just kind of open your body, you take a second and kind of become aware where your mind is, and then understand that your body's probably mirroring what's going on up there. And if we're moving 1,000,000 miles per hour, we just need a second to give yourself a break. So sun salutations, where you're opening yourself up, giving yourself a little blood flow, slowing things down, and taking some time for yourself. That'd probably be that little sequence that, if I had to eliminate everything else, that'd be the one thing I try to keep.
Wow, that's interesting. And what about meditation? Does that play a part in yoga? Do you do that in your style of yoga?
Yes. So meditation was one of the barriers, I think. for a lot of people, when they hear meditation, they think of this person sitting in lotus pose, cross-legged, and just, you know, which is a part of it, but there's so much to it. Now, what I didn't realize is that yoga and moving is just a form of meditation. Meditation is just, you know, bringing all of your attention on what's going on right now, whether that be moving on your mat, you're focusing what your body's doing, you're focusing hopefully on your breath and making it a little bit easier. I'm trying to limit some things. I've heard this before, everything's as complicated as simple as you're making it. And so what meditation is trying to do is bringing your breath in towards your body, which is actually the definition of vinyasa. There's a couple different, you know, movement with controlled breath, or just placing your body with care. And that's really what meditation is, just taking care of yourself and being there for yourself, learning about yourself a little bit, and just taking some time out of your day that might be invested in towards other people, other events, wedding, you know, planning, all those different things, and just giving yourself, even if it's 5 minutes a day, that's what I try to do, where you're just focused on yourself, giving yourself some kind of recharging the battery and quieting things upstairs.
Where does this actually just popped into my head? Where did your style of yoga originate from? Where is its origins?
Sure. It's Mysore, India.
Wow.
And Mysore is actually a word that you might, if you're invested, if you're into the yoga community at all, Mysore is something you might hear. Other studios actually offer Mysore, but when it came over here in the '60s, Patabi Joyce, you know, it's a well-known practice for self-practice. So you go into the studio and you just go through the sequence. But at the same time, there's an opportunity to, you know, teach the poses to people and slow it down a little bit and still get the exact same result at the end, which is, again, feeling a little rejuvenated body-wise and feeling a little stronger body-wise and more open and mentally just kind of calming down, knowing that there's a peaceful feeling in your mind, and the same thing with the wedding. You get to that weekend and things could be feeling like out of your control, but if you stop and think about it, you know, you're happy now as you'll ever be in your entire life. So you can get to that point.
And you have a lot of out-of-town guests that you sort of want to just take those moments to sort of breathe in and do yoga. This is a good, and you see I'm pushing it because I really did get a good feel that this was a good way to interject an activity that can take you down a little bit and sort of relax in the moment. I can't stress that enough throughout the show today, that it was a wonderful experience noticing it, because I think the ocean had a lot to do with it, because we were on this beautiful estate with the water right there and the sand, and you could hear the waves and you could see everybody exercising, and they were having now imagine that, and you're in a beautiful estate that you're overlooking all the foliage right now that's happening, and you're doing yoga. That's a wonderful experience. What advice do you have for people who have never been to a yoga class and want to come but are afraid?
You know, first and foremost, I can relate. That's how I felt, and you know, really takes you thinking back and just kind of asking yourself, you know, why would I do this for myself? First off, you know, I think that's the first barrier is to get by. Is you start building up what it's going to be like, all of these things, and you judge yourself, and you're putting all these expectations. And you know, I said it before earlier in the show, is just show up. Promise yourself that. Just promise yourself you show up, even if there are some things that are difficult. You can iron out the details when you get there. The person, you know, as a teacher, I'm not going to let you struggle through it. All I want to help you do is find exactly whatever you're looking for to get out of it, and just make you feel better a little bit coming out and knowing. So really, for that first class, be confident, believe, don't doubt yourself. And even though, you know, hey, I'm nursing an injury, or hey, you know, I haven't done anything for this long or something like that. You know, there's a side of this for everyone, and that's what I really enjoy. You know, about my style of yoga and other styles that might come up into play that I might teach and stuff.
When are your classes? Like what times?
When I teach kind of throughout the week. Obviously, we change a little seasonally, but as far as schedule-wise, it's usually a good quality of evening classes right after, you know, anywhere
like after 6, like after
5:30, 6:15.
Okay.
Two classes in Saco. Are 2:15. A couple of classes in the Scarborough area at 5:30. So we try to get, you know, we understand that, you know, people are coming right from work. We want to give them some time there, but we don't want to be way too late for them where they have time, like you said, question themselves before they go. And at the same time, we have some morning ones. You know, I'm someone who really likes doing things and getting it out of the way in the morning, and so we try to.
I'm the same way. I'm a morning person, so I like going to the gym in the morning. So I get up at 5:30. I'll go to the gym. It sort of relaxes me, and that's sort of my puts me in my mental
Right.
state for the rest of the day. So that
Sets you up.
So,
Sets you going.
what's your mission for being a yoga? What do you have?
Yeah.
Do you have
So my mission is to, I might have said this, is to help people find whatever they're looking for. At the time I found yoga, it came at a time where my body was kind of beat up, and I wasn't helping it. It came at a time where mentally I was a little out of whack. So starting in on it just for the physical aspect of it, I found that I was getting equally as great mental benefits. And at the same time, I was kind of just starting in towards this little spiritual journey that is really just a self-care, self-growth process. And so those are things that I've found out of myself, but really whatever it is and wherever everyone is, everyone's got a story. Everyone's got something going on in their life or has had something in their life that, it might have obstacles or barriers come up out of it. And I get it. And some of us just want, physically want to change. Some of us mentally want something, and that comes through the physical. So it's really helping people find. I'm not expecting them to come out and say it to me, but there's those moments that click. So my mission is to just be able to offer whatever it is someone else is looking for out of, whatever they're doing. Yeah.
Cool. Any exciting plans for the 2016 season?
The 2016,
So we have the weddings coming up, so we're really pushing that. So I want everybody to...
Yes, yoga for weddings. Really, it's an awesome idea. I've had a lot of cool feedback from what I've done and heard from, like you said, stories like you've said. I've heard some people, there's some close friends of my parents that had it, and they said, oh, how cool would it be to have a yoga session before? And that's really customizable based on, who's there, what they're looking for. So that's a really cool, exciting thing that I'm really...
So you're pushing
looking
that
forward to it. Yeah, yoga
so that's
for
a separate
wedding.
part of what you do.
Right, but at the same time, I see when groups of people come together, it's cool. You can connect in movement, And so whether it be, I've done a yoga for men's workshop before because there's a little bit of trepidation going in towards a class of full of women, and I've done I'm looking to get into athletes, things of that, and also some collaboration with.
That's excellent.
People in other areas, whether it be with, in the wedding arena or staying into the health and well-being spot, and whether it be collaborating with a chiro or something like that. Just as many different options, as many different people, and so really that's kind of what I'm working on right now, is just opening up some time to meet as many people, kind of do as many interesting things I can do with yoga, and actually this weekend, going down to Austin.
Oh, wow.
One of the, David Swenson, he actually, back in the 60s, 70s, and he's one of the renowned, as far as the Ashtanga yoga goes, one of the renowned names.
So you're going to
I'm going to go to meet him, in his
wow, that's
hometown.
excellent.
So that would be pretty exciting.
So you're going to take a class with him? So
yeah, it's a weekend workshop. So kind of getting a lot of experience there too. Yeah,
that's cool. So it's sort of like you're constantly learning on your journey, and the more you're getting more experience and more knowledge. And
I think that's the most important part right now. I think that's, if I had to say what's going on in my world outside of the yoga studio, it's setting some time aside to either learn, read, watch.
You certainly
hear.
seem at peace. I have to tell you that. I mean, because you don't feel like you're carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders, and sort of that's one of my biggest problems and that I have. So I need to let some of that go, and so maybe I'll go back to yoga.
Hey, you never know.
So how do you find your studios for the studio
You can
audience?
find our studios. So as far as my class schedule from the studio-wise, it's right on my website, sambutts.com. It's active. It's been active since this summer, and kind of put a blog together, things like that. But I'm really excited. This is something that I'm going to put up there. Wedding services, between the packages and pricing goes with that, between some other workshops, upcoming things like that. So sambutts.com. I'm also, through that, you can find my links as far as social media go. I'm pretty much on everything that you can get
social
to.
media-wise?
Some better than others, but I really enjoy Instagram and actually Pinterest too. Okay. A couple of those sites too, and that's a direct link through that website of mine. So.
And you can also find him on our vendor page. Then he'll be on there listed for weddings, and you can just check him out and make sure you give him a call. And what is it we end your yoga sessions with? It's Namaste?
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, peace, 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 and Namaste.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing everybody next week. So they'll close out now and everything will be fine. See, pretty easy.
Yeah,
Pretty good, right?
that was-
So I was watching that.
Was that all right?
Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
so.
Just always think of